States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, can I have a roll call, please?
Alderman Bowman.
Present.
Alderman Dahlman.
Present.
Alderman Milner. Present. Alderman Coburn.
Here.
Alderman Dickerson.
Here.
Alderman Long.
Here.
Alderman Stoll.
Here.
Alderman Stafford.
Here.
Mayor Haffey.
I am here. We do have a quorum. Good evening, everyone. We do have some ceremonial matters tonight. Kim, if you could please join me up here. Kim is celebrating her 15 years with the city of Harrisonville. I'm sure most of the people around here can tell you that not much goes on without Kim having a hand in it. I don't think that things would run without Kim doing them. So she keeps all of us in order, I know that's for sure. So she has served the city very well for 15 years. We hope to have her for at least another 15 more. So Kim, congratulations on your 15 years. All right. At this time, I'll open public participation to anybody who has anything to bring before the board that is not already on our agenda. Please be sure to tell Kim your name and address for the record. Oh, somebody coming, Jack.
Okay, let them go first.
26704.
Spell your last name.
Good evening.
Good evening.
As many might recall, I was here last council meeting, we had some questions and concerns about the truck stop being opened at Burkhart. His first question is, has anyone come to a consensus as to who will police it?
We will police the actual,
Yeah, the road.
the road itself.
Yeah. Yeah, because once it gets open, I mean, obviously there was a truck stop at one end of Burkhart, one end of the other. And they still go up and down the road just like there's nothing there.
Do you know how much of that road we police and how much the county is responsible?
I think there's like four,
Yeah, there's, part of it is in both
yeah,
jurisdictions.
like 3 properties in the city and the rest is in the county.
And we can go out and police the areas as part of our patrols for those areas that are in the city limits.
Okay.
And there'll be other areas that are outside the city limits and in the jurisdiction of Cass County, so.
Yeah, because I know the signs up,
Just like we've been doing, you know, when the road was open earlier, we had the same jurisdictional questions.
okay. All right, okay, that was one. Second of all, when the road is actually going to be open. It was initially supposed to be open, I believe, the 22nd of December, and that didn't happen. And then Mr. Sheffield said it should be open by the end of the year. That didn't happen either. Of course, obviously, the weather has something to do with it. So this answer is just in extenuating circumstances. I called Mr. Sheffield, he sent me an email, and he stated, the road we completed today is warming up, the city doesn't want it open yet as they have some work to do on a bridge. And Brad said it should take a couple days, but our part will be ready, so it's a city, not us. And my neighbor, Doug Walton, also emailed him, and he got a reply back saying that, last I heard, the city will not allow us to open the road pending some culvert work, as they want to perform, and the weather is delaying them. I'm assuming the culvert work they're talking about is at Brick Plant and Anaconda, you know?
I can address that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is Rodney Jacobs, he's
Yes.
our.
Yeah, we-
All right.
I had talked to one of the foremen out on the project, and I was asking them what they were going to be doing, how soon they were gonna go open the road, because I was curious also. I was waiting for them to get their asphalt hauled and the gravel hauled, because I had a large culvert to replace at the corner of Brick Plant and Anaconda. And I was waiting for them to get that done, because they did not want all those heavy trucks on 267. When I was talking to him, I told him that we wanted to get that done as soon as they got their asphalt hole. That was done last Thursday. I never told them that we were waiting to open the road when I got my work done, because I was gonna detour all the trucks anyway. But, so that's not the answer to that. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
The
I'm
culvert
just
is
curious
in.
where they got it from, that's the only thing.
Yeah, that's where they got it from. I told him that as soon as he got done with his work, I wanted to get my culvert in.
Okay,
And that has been done.
It has been,
yes. So I'm assuming then the backfilling of the curbs and the striping and the guardrails all has to be done then before,
Yes,
before the
yes,
road will be
we
open?
we won't allow any road to open without having those things done. If you don't backfill the curbs, even if the trucks don't drive on the curbs, driving close to the edge,
Right.
can push them back. And then we'll be responsible for replacing the curbs. That's not an expense I'm willing to pay for. You need the signage up for the road to be safe, along with the striping and guardrails. I don't think anybody wants to put someone in danger by having these things deficient.
Right. Were they aware of that?
It's in the
Yeah,
contract,
absolutely.
correct?
It is?
Yeah, it's in their contract.
Okay, so
that
they
have
know
to-
that even though what they
Yeah.
told us?
Yeah, I did some inquiring, this had come to my attention, I did some inquiring, yeah, it's not, you know, Rodney's thing, if he hadn't gotten to it then, he could have closed the road for a day at most and done what he needed to do, so we knew that wasn't holding it up, but it's they have to fulfill that contract, or yeah, the road, you know, we can't go out there and move the barriers and say, oh, yeah, it's open for business, so,
Okay, so
hopefully the weather cooperates a little bit and they can get the backfill done and all the other stuff, but yeah, that's.
Okay, so somewhere on his end, he's not getting the right message,
That's,
either to his contractor or whoever's doing the work.
mhm. So we will touch base with him and make sure it's understood that's what the holdup is, and that, yes, as soon as they can get that done would be much appreciated, so we can get that road opened back up.
Yes, yes, residents and I would all of it open, yes.
Yeah,
And the last thing, the bridge, I mean, I think I mentioned this last time, you're going across I-49.
mhm,
I contacted MoDOT, you know, just asking what their plans were on repairing the bridge, and he said, we have no immediate plans. We're probably talking 3, 4, 5 years down the road. And when we do work on the bridge, we'll have to close the bridge and totally redo it.
mhm.
So, should that have been thought about before they, you know, built this stuff up here? I mean, obviously, we're thinking about it a little too late,
Mhm.
because they're gonna close that again, and they'll just, you know, they'll be using our road.
Yeah, last I knew from MoDOT, they didn't even have anything on their radar in the next 5 years. I mean, if he told you the next 5, you got better information than I got.
He may have been optimistic.
Yeah.
You know, and he was saying that they could do some temporary repair,
Mhm.
which was called heat shrinking or something,
Yeah,
if I remember right.
yeah, MoDOT's road budget is not the best, so I know they're trying to put off, you know, if they can make it, they're not addressing it, and I know that bridge was not on a high priority list, so,
Got you.
yeah. I mean, it's got some damage that I know of from trucks hitting it a couple times, but,
Yeah, and it's rough as a cob and
Yeah.
falling through, yeah, I know.
Yep.
Okay, well, that's what I was concerned about too.
mhm, yeah,
So, okay, well, those are my new questions, so
all
I
right.
appreciate it.
Well, thank you, we appreciate it.
Thanks, sir.
What else tonight? Cotton,
Thank you.
you're most welcome.
I'm Clem Cadell Hopper. I live out on Possum Hollow Road, there in Powhatan County. I wish to address our honorable mayor today. I was watching the TV the other day, and I was on Channel 6. And I have yet to get an autograph from somebody that's been on TV and has been on thing. So I am asking our honorable mayor if I could get his autograph, so I can put that in a folder saying that I have now been contacted by somebody that's been on TV.
It may be a check.
It's got a copy through. There, I'll even put a note on how's that.
That'll work.
There you are.
Well,
sir.
I appreciate that, sir.
You're most
And like I
welcome.
say, you're the first TV personality that I've had a chance to talk to. I just wanted to have that.
Well, I will tell you, I have not quit my day job.
All right, well, God bless.
Thank you, Jack.
I can forge that for you. I could have watched that.
Is there anyone else tonight?
Didn't say that loud enough to cut it on.
I waited all week to do that.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor,
Good evening,
City Council. Whoa. I don't even know where to start on this. You know, I appreciate everybody, especially you, Mayor, watching our tax base and how we spend our money and what it's spent on. But I'd ask Mrs. McCoy when she first got here that I would like to have the numbers, the amount of money that has been deducted out of our utilities and put in general funds. Well, she did a great job. She got me the amount of money that is taken out of our utilities for administration fees, employee fees, this stuff. Which in the 8 years I asked for, in the electrical alone, it came to $12,508,000. In the water and sewer, Mike, do we have a percentage for administration fee, or is that just a number we take? Is there a percentage like franchise?
The administrative fee is, it's a result of a formula that looks at the different services that are offered to the different funds.
So it's open-ended?
No, the formula is pretty specific.
It's not a set percentage of the revenue?
No.
Okay. Max, congratulations on your article in last Friday's paper. You were able to get some of the numbers that I was unable to obtain under the Freedom of Information Act, by the way. For the 1.5 million that we lent to a TDD out here, a loan from the city, $425,000 came out of our electrical. $866,000 come out of our sewer and water. $209,000 came out of our general fund. Mike, is there I know one time when Mr. Moody was here, he did a PowerPoint presentation, and he explained to the board that our utilities had so much money over here, but that it could not be taken and used for projects unless it was transferred into general fund first. Is that still true?
This is actually not my time to speak. So, I'm sorry, this isn't actually my time to speak, this is your time to speak.
I know,
This
but it's
isn't-
my time to ask a question. Mayor, could you
Right.
get him to answer that question?
No, this is the public's time to speak, it's not a,
Was it public information?
I don't want to cut into your 4 minutes, sir.
Oh, you're not?
I'll have.
You don't want to answer that?
Well, if you want to provide questions, fine.
No, I did that with Freedom of Information. With questions. Yeah. Folks, I want you to take note of this, because Mr. Moody leaving did not solve our problem. We've got more problems. And Ms. Bowman, time for you. You took our mayor to task really, really hard over a veto of the water rate increase. Called him the Santa Claus that stole Christmas, the cold and the soft. You weren't on the board when they passed the funds to pay for the bond, were you?
No, I wasn't.
So you probably don't know they did that.
I am aware that they did that
When did you find that out?
at a council meeting.
When?
I don't recall.
Recently? And yet you were, oops,
That would be 4
weren't you?
minutes. That would be 4 minutes.
Great. So So we don't have a problem with the bonds for the updated water treatment plant, do we?
I'm not gonna take the time of the people that are in the audience, but I'd be happy to meet with you sometime later.
Is this frustrating, folks, or what? I mean,
Mr. Butler.
they represent
Mr.
us.
Butler, please,
Address
you
the
are here,
board.
it's public, please
I
address
know,
the board.
but I'm doing this for the
Excuse me,
public
sir.
interest.
I'm trying to, you are here to speak to the board. If you have comments to the board, please address them to the board. Thank you.
Well, what I was trying to find out is exactly how much money came out of our utilities to pay for the police department. Evidently, those numbers aren't available and won't be made so. I don't know, tonight, I'm more than happy to have before you Mr. Todd Schuler, who is the auditor. And of anybody that in here still questions why we wanted a city audit, I think that'll be answered. I'd heard that there'd been things moved around a little bit, but since this is not their first rodeo, I think it's still paper. And I'll be more than happy to see how the outcome comes. I hope everything's fine. But after what I've heard tonight, I don't think so. I think we're still up in there. One more question, if I might.
One more question.
And it's of a council person. When your husband's on the planning and zoning, and when you're on the board of aldermen, and you vote for a project that facilitates cash to your family, is there a conflict in there anywhere? Thank you, I'll yield back my time.
Thank you. Is there anyone else tonight? Is there anyone else tonight? Good
evening, Board and Mr. Mayor. I'm going to kind of follow up on what he had to say there a little bit. As you know, when Loves did come in here, I sent everybody on this board an email saying how I was embarrassed and ashamed to be a resident of Harrisonville. Not much has changed since the new board and the new mayor. I'm still ashamed of how some of you guys and even our employees of the city are acting. After reading the paper and seeing the stuff that the arguing and the bickering going on in this city, I'm ashamed to be here. And then you get people that are upset and trying to voice their opinions, and it goes on deaf ears because you guys are still bickering. You guys are still fighting one another. I do an awful lot for this town on my own. And I volunteer for a lot of things, and I do that because I like this town. And I'm quite sure most of you up here are up here because you want to do what's best for this town. You guys need to stop arguing with each other and put that aside. That's what's hurting this town. If you can't see that from what's being read in the paper and what is being read on social media, you're deaf and blind, because it's terrible. And I'm not pointing at this one person, I'm pointing at this whole city. Not just you guys, but the city staff, because they're arguing back and forth, because they're fighting, because they had to fight with the previous administrator to get money for their different organizations. I fought for 3 years and still kind of fighting for the fire department to get some of the stuff that they've needed for 3 years. And it's back up on social media again because now our ambulances are being towed away and everybody's seeing it again. But I was up here and we did get an extra ambulance for them. Well, once we got that extra ambulance, then people started moving jobs and leaving, and now we're down 3 or 4 different people. So now they're fighting again. So now you have the different departments fighting to get their budgets and get what they need. And that's the problem here. You guys need to work together. Yes, you vetoed the water bill. I voted for the water bonds. I knew that the water bonds may cause our water rates to go up. Some people may and some people may not. But that is what you ran on. And I give you kudos for that because you didn't want to raise our rates and you didn't want to raise our taxes without having everything. And I agree with that. But I also agree with Judy that, you know, us voters did vote that in. But I think overall common sense tells us that we don't know what they're going to do. We don't know if they're going to accept our rates. We don't know if they're going to accept the higher rates, and you're going to have to come back. So I think you did the right thing. Business-wise, I think that's the right thing to do to make sure we get exactly what we need. If it postpones it a year or 2 years, we need to do what's best for this town and not be doing what we've done in the past. Since I've sat on the strategic planning committee about 7 years ago, I believe, 7, 8 years ago, I've seen the money flow out of this city that's not needed. The Kansas City water that we bought, that we didn't need. But it was definite that we had to have it because our water wasn't no good. We spent millions and millions on that. Well, that's millions that we could have redone our own water department. That's the problem with this city, and that's what you guys need to start doing. Because it's going to start getting rougher on this city if we keep getting the bad publicity because nobody wants to come here. Why would a business want to come here? Why would people want to move here? When we see the head of the city arguing and the employees arguing against the council and everything else and making us look bad. That's all they're doing. That's all we're doing, sitting up here arguing with one another, making us look bad. And that's why you get Virgil up here mad because of what we're doing and what we're spending. He's got great ideas. Everybody has different ideas and everybody has different opinions. I don't necessarily agree with everything that everybody up here does, but I can't hold it against you because you're doing the best that you can for what you think that your constituents want. But you need to think about the town as well. Think what is the best for the town, not just for yourselves and not just for your reputation. Because the more that you sit here and argue and tell someone that they left coal in everybody's stocking, that makes us look bad. I mean, it's out there on social media. It just makes us look bad. So we need to stop arguing. We need to get together because this town ain't gonna go nowhere. And you can put anybody else up here on the board and do whatever you want, but you're still gonna argue, you're still gonna bicker, and this town's just gonna go to hell because nobody cares. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Anyone else that would like to speak tonight? Seeing no one, I will close public participation and we will move on to the approval of the minutes.
I make a motion to approve.
I have a correction to it. On the statement that I made about the Runenberger building owned by Life Church, it's the Heart of Life, not the Life Church.
Oh, okay. Heart of Life?
Heart of Life.
Okay. Thank you.
Nothing I need to approve?
Go for it.
All right, I did.
All right, I need a second. I have a motion from Alderman Dickerson, a second from Alderman Dahlman. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And the minutes are approved. Moving on to, as amended. Thank you, Alderman Gilbert. Moving on to our agenda items. Item A, Todd, Schuler, is that how you pronounce that?
Yes.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Well, I want to thank the mayor and the board for allowing me to get on the agenda tonight. My name is Todd Schuler, and I'm an audit manager with the Missouri State Auditor's Office. I'm here tonight to notify the board as well as the public that we are ready to get started on our petition audit of the city. We received a valid petition from 690 citizens of the city of Harrisonville. 617 signatures were required. So once that threshold is met, then our office is required by state law to come and do an audit. So that's what we're here to get started. The scope of our audit will be the most recently completed fiscal year, which is 15.
It doesn't necessarily preclude us from looking at something before, and we will look at procedures up through the current time frame that we are here. I have with me tonight Julie Molden, is in the second row here. She's the senior auditor with our office. She will be the auditor, one of the auditors, but she'll be in charge. That will be down here on a daily, regular basis, conducting the audit. I, as the audit manager, have overall responsibility for the audit. I'll review all the work, and ultimately, when we're done and Julie's completed her field work, she'll draft an audit report. I'll review that audit report. Jeff City, my bosses, will review that audit report, and once we are satisfied with the information in the report, we will set up a meeting with the board. It will be in closed session because it will still be in draft form, and we'll come down and share that report with the board. And two reasons we do that: to make sure there's no errors, and also to give the board an opportunity to respond. The responses that we obtain from the board will be added to the actual audit report, and then shortly thereafter we'll release it publicly. That will contain our recommendations to the city, as well as the board's responses to those recommendations. So time frame wise, it's kind of a guess until we get down here, but based on experience, I'd say we'll be in field work 12 weeks, somewhere, approximately 3 months, somewhere in that neighborhood. And then it'll take several months to get things wrapped up, get all the work reviewed. But realistically, I'd say late summer, we'll be looking at a public audit report, something that will be available. All of our audits are on our website, so the public will be able to see the final version of this, and anyone can get to the report. The estimated cost that we included on the petition form was $40,000 to $60,000. We will do our very best to keep within that. If there's some reason that we believe that we'll need to exceed that maximum amount, we'd certainly be in touch with the city and give you notice and some possible reasons why. But I do a lot of these audits. I think I'm confident we'll be able to keep within the estimated. And when we get done, we will send a final billing to the city, and that will conclude the process. Depending on what we find, sometimes we do come back and do a little follow-up work, so there's always potential for that. And we also plan to audit the municipal court of the city. We have audit responsibility for all municipal courts in the state, and since we have not been down to do an audit of municipal court in Harrisonville recently, we're going to go ahead. Now, that is not something that the city will be billed for. That'll be completely separate. And there will also be a separate audit report that is issued once we are completed with the audit of the municipal court and have a chance to go over that with the municipal judge. So that's basically a couple things. We do receive, obviously, concerns that are sent to us by the petition group. But we also are interested if there are any concerns that anyone on the board might have, particularly, really it could be anything. Pass those around. And I want to give some phone numbers out to the public and some ways to contact our office. If you are here, or if someone hears about that we're getting started on the audit, we'll look at any concerns, or at least we'll consider any concerns that are expressed to our office. So if anyone wants to get in touch with us and has a concern that has not been shared with the petition group that we already have, you can contact. We have a hotline number, which is 1-800-347-8597. You can also send an email to moaudit@auditor.mo.gov. And you could also contact me personally. My name's Todd Schuler. Phone number for me is 573-751-4213. And an email for me is todd.schuler@auditor.mo.gov. And last name is spelled S-C-H-U-L-E-R. So if there are concerns, I make no promises going in. We will do our level best to look into all of the concerns that are expressed. We do a lot of these audits, so there are also areas that we will look into that maybe wasn't from a concern that was expressed. If I'm aware of a certain issue, or if Julie identifies something as she goes through her survey work, then we could literally dive into almost any area. So, but we will do our best as far as from the public goes to look into the concerns that are expressed to us by the citizens. So, at this point, we will probably be down here likely next week. We usually only work 4 10-hour days to save on travel costs, which will ultimately save the city money. So we'll be down here usually each week, Monday through Thursday, and then we'll be gone on Friday, which I'm sure city staff will appreciate. So, is there any questions for the board or the mayor that I can answer tonight? And feel free to contact me if you do have a question. Are there any questions from the public that anyone has regarding the audit process or anything regarding anything you've heard tonight? Okay. Well,
John, did you have?
oh yes.
Will you be interviewing any of the signatures, the people who signed the petition?
If I'm aware and I have a follow-up question, I mean, it's not completely unheard of for us to get in touch with the chief petitioner to try to get some clarification. If the chief petitioner is aware that there's another individual that has information that they'd like to provide, then certainly they could put us in touch. But usually most of our communication is directed at the chief petitioner. But it isn't unheard of for us. And certainly if anyone has anything that they'd like to share with us directly, by all means, give me a call, give me an email. We're interested in hearing. We're here because the public has requested us to be here. So we certainly are interested in hearing what the concerns of the citizens are.
Thank you.
No problem. Any other questions? Okay, thank you all very much for your time, and we will certainly be in touch.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, sorry about that. Moving on to the next item, race for Rhett, 5K. Evening, Chief.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the Board of Aldermen. Before you, there's an application from Angela Cunningham to host the second annual Race for Rhett. It's a fundraiser for Rett syndrome. Then you're going to funds there for research for that. They're requesting the race date of June 6, 2016, from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. or to 12 p.m. And they have included the route, their proposed route. We didn't have any problems with that, any concerns. I think everything's covered in my memo. Address any questions.
John,
This is the second year for the
On
event.
the application, it says June 4th. Because I thought it was odd that it would be on a Monday.
Yep, I put in the wrong date, and I guess I had fat fingers when I was writing.
Good catch.
Just wanted to make sure and put it on the right date.
And they have not provided the insurance, but they will once they're approved.
Questions?
Move to approve. Second.
I have a motion from Alderman Miller and a second from Alderman Bowman. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It is approved. Council Bill 001.
Council Bill 001 is a resolution of the Board of Aldermen of Harrisonville, Missouri, authorizing the city administrator to sign the attached disciple certificate for Jerry Miners, first year in Council Bill 001. Actually, it's a resolution, so only one reading. Do you want me to explain?
One of you, yeah.
Sure, glad to. Miners, the gas station down by the Price Chopper, is selling their plot of land. As part of that sale, the title company wanted a certificate from the city acknowledging that the TIF requirements for that plat have been satisfied. In other words, they built the store, they installed the pumps, they're pumping gas, and they acknowledge their continuing obligation to pay over the sales tax that's being collected as part of the TIF. And obviously the purchaser of that parcel wants to make sure there isn't any surprises laying out there for any additional obligations that would go with the redevelopment agreement or the TIF that was part of that. And so all that we're acknowledging is that one piece, which the city's already done back in 2009. We're just confirming that the same is still true today.
I have a question. The new purchaser, will they be subject to the TIF like minors?
Yes,
Will they be able to grandfather onto them?
yes.
And that's the
yes.
only piece you're saying is remaining, that's the only obligation is the payment. Everything else has been met, we're not, there's no.
Correct.
Right.
They've already built the store as
Yeah.
they're able, that they have to continue to collect the additional sales tax that's subject to, and, I'm sorry, they have to continue to collect the sales tax, pay it to the state, and then the state reimburses it back to the city.
Anyone else? Seeing no discussion, I would, for a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
Motion from Alderman Stafford,
Second.
second from Alderman Milner. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And Council Bill 001 becomes Resolution R001. Council Bill 002.
Council Bill 002 is a resolution to authorize the city administrator to execute a mutually agreed agreement between the City of Harrisonville, Missouri and Forestry Division of the Missouri Department of Natural Resources.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the board. Before you is a mutual aid agreement that's been in place. It's been renewed every 5 years, but it's been in place for years, long before I was here. The Forestry Division has a very good program that allows fire departments to obtain equipment. We get a lot of wildland equipment from the Department of Forestry, rakes and kind of materials like that at no cost to us. They also have a bank of equipment, vehicles and such, that if we chose to use that, we'd be able to get those. And this agreement will say if they give us vehicles, we insure it, we keep it maintained, we when we're done with it, give it back to them. Also in this agreement is the ability for them to help us out in an emergency with fires. If we remember a couple years ago, we had the big fire out at the airport. They happened to be coming by from down south from a big fire. They were coming by and they asked if they could help. It was a godsend to have them here. Those folks know what they're doing when they've got grass fires and that kind of thing, so they helped us out a lot. So this is basically what this agreement does, is to help continue to foster that relationship with equipment and their personnel. So we would like to continue that with your people. Any questions?
Any questions?
Have we ever utilized any of their vehicles?
Several years ago, when I first got here, we had 3 of those vehicles before, but through staffing and the use of the vehicles did not fit our operation, so we did return those vehicles to the department.
And you say this is for 5 years?
These are 5 years, yeah.
I would entertain a motion to approve if anyone has any further questions.
I make a motion to approve.
Motion from Alderman Dickerson,
Second.
second from Alderman Coburn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Council Bill 002 becomes Resolution R002. Council Bill 003.
Council Bill 003 is a resolution of the Board of Aldermen to approve change order number 9 to the leading construction contract with the Highway 71-291 Partners in Progress Transportation Development District in an amount of $5,434.88.
It's a big one tonight, isn't it?
It's a big one. I had indicated, excuse me, I had indicated previously that any change orders would be minor from this point on. This is for U-turn signs to be allowed in Missouri. It is prohibited to make U-turns at intersections unless it's allowed. And by putting up the signing, that would then allow U-turns where we have a right in, right out only that's gonna occur there on Commercial Street between 291 and Plaza, and also between Commercial Street and the South Walmart entrance. So if you're traveling northbound on 291, you want to get to KFC, you'll be allowed to make a U-turn to get into KFC and Arby's, and same way on Commercial Street. So this allows for the signage and the brackets to go up on the utility poles. Staff is recommending approval of the change order. I did include in your packet a summary of all the change orders, just to remind the board the TUD had put together about, I think they're obligated for about $200,000 in change orders is what they put aside. To date, change order 9 will bring their obligation to $102,245.39. So they're still well within their allowance for change orders on 291. Staff is recommending approval. Be happy to answer any questions.
Does this U-turns fall under any safety guidelines to?
This
I mean,
is,
I think this
they
is
have been designed.
A little dangerous.
Well, no, it's when you're in the left turn lane that you'll be allowed to make a U-turn. And so it's gonna be under a protected light to make a left turn. So you can make the U-turn just like, it's protected left turn. It's the only time you can make a U-turn.
So this is not, they can just turn anywhere they want,
No.
make U-turn and decide to
No,
go
this
the other way?
is where you already have a protected left turn. They've got a left turn signal, and they will be allowed to make a U-turn at that left turn light.
Instead of turning in front of the traffic, they're just looping around, so either way, it's the same, really the same risk either way. I mean, they're turning it, the only risk is if they're turning on a green yield, I guess you could say. If it's an arrow, they have to.
They could turn on a.
On a yield, they can
on
turn.
a yield.
Yeah, that's the only one you have a risk, because they're
Right.
supposed to yield to a car, but otherwise, yeah, you're right, it's protected.
No big
Yeah,
deal.
it's not any more dangerous than making the left turn itself, so.
They said that they didn't allow it, is that what you said, in most places that they're?
It has to be marked.
We have to allow it. It's the state doesn't.
It is prohibited unless allowed.
Okay, yeah, that's what you said, that's right. So is the state highway on board with this?
Yes.
It was designed that way.
Yeah, it's, you actually go to some cities, you'll see the sign, it'll say U-turn, so it's very handy, I mean, because, yeah, I've been places where you get locked in, you gotta go into a parking lot, drive around, come back out just to go to a business, and it's kind of.
So one other question, then there's not gonna be a concrete barrier down Commercial?
There is a concrete barrier down Commercial.
There is gonna be
between 291 Plaza. So it will prohibit,
Go to Plaza Drive?
it'll be right in, right out only.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion from Alderman Stoll, second from Alderman Dahlman. All those in favor? Opposed? Council Bill 003 becomes Resolution R003. Council Bill 004.
Council Bill 004 is going to be an ordinance authorizing the city administrator of the city of Harrisonville to enter into maintenance agreements with irrigation works for 8 years in amount not to exceed $20,830 per year, first reading of Council Bill 004.
This is a program. Let me start out this way. I've identified in staff report, we have 5 fine air diffusers. Look, 3 in the aeration basins, 2 in the digesters. One of the things we track is energy usage. And in 2013, we noticed our energy usage was starting to go up. We didn't realize until we had the problem in the floor, and that gave us an opportunity to look at the fine air diffusers, that what was causing the energy increase was the membranes were starting to get fouled, and by being fouled, it doesn't allow the air to go through, so your energy cost goes up. And so the company that was taking a look at the membranes indicated they now have a program in place, they just started it 2 years ago, that they will perform maintenance on the membranes. And every 2 years they'll come in and then test them and determine the performance, and if they need to, they'll clean them, and that way you keep them in optimal performance. They will also continue their warranty. Right now, the membranes, once they've been installed, there's a 1-year warranty. So after 2 years, they're out of warranty. For them to come in and work on them is a maintenance charge, and that maintenance charge is somewhere between $5,000 and $10,000 for them to come in and look at it. If you have a torn membrane or one that needs to be replaced, they then charge you for it. Under the maintenance agreement, this would be their obligation to keep them in a performance level. They would have to replace any membranes that were fouled up, they couldn't get repaired, or if they're split and couldn't be repaired, they'd have to replace them. This would provide 2 changeovers of the membranes. The membrane cost to do a changeover is roughly in the neighborhood of $70,000, $80,000. So, and with the 5-year, or with the cost of doing maintenance, 5 to 10,000 for them to come in. When you look at the overall value you receive, the maintenance cost would be, it's like an insurance policy, would be less expensive and would keep our membranes performing at a high level, keep our energy costs low, and would be much more cost effective. Staff is recommending that we participate in the maintenance agreement. We can't obligate for 8 years, but we would re-budget each year to the $20,830 in that approval. But it is an 8-year maintenance program.
So we're spreading that over 8 years rather than having
Right.
big lump sums. We know for a fact that
That's
this
correct.
is what we're paying for.
This would be a level, we might say a level pay.
Right.
Kind of like our water bills, level pay.
So this basically extends that warranty, it's prepaid service work essentially. Okay.
And it extends the warranty, so
Indefinitely.
for
I
the
mean,
entire
so
8 years
as
is
long as
under
you're on the
warranty.
service program, they reflect, okay.
Right. Staff's recommending approval.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
A motion from Alderman Dickerson and a second from Alderman Milner. All those in favor?
Aye.
Well, excuse me, this is an ordinance now, not a resolution. I apologize. We need to do a roll call now.
Are we gonna go for the second reading?
Yeah.
Suspend the second reading?
I have
Yeah.
this as a resolution.
Yeah, we made a change on this one. Yes, we need to have a motion to suspend the ruling. Move this to the second reading. I apologize for
I'll
that.
make that motion.
Second.
Your second, so
Motion was to suspend.
suspend the ruling is the motion now, yes, and we'll need a roll call.
Okay, hold on, hang on just.
We'll give you a minute to adjust there.
So this is an ordinance, not a resolution? now?
Yeah, we had a change on the fly there, I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's getting approved, I assume it's getting approved since they're wanting to move it to a second motion.
Alderman Stafford,
Aye.
Alderman Stoll,
Aye.
Alderman Long,
Aye.
Alderman Dickerson,
Aye.
Alderman Milner,
Aye.
Alderman Dahlman,
Aye.
Alderman Bowman, Aye. Alderman Coburn.
Aye.
Constable 004 is an ordinance authorizing the city administrator to the city of Harrisonville, Missouri to enter a maintenance agreement with aerating works for 8 years in an amount not to exceed $20,830 per year. Second reading, Constable 004.
Alderman Dahlman. Aye. Alderman Milner,
Aye.
Alderman Stafford,
Aye.
Alderman Long,
Aye.
Alderman Dickerson,
Aye.
Alderman Stoll,
Aye.
Alderman Bowman,
Aye.
Alderman Coburn.
Aye.
And Council Bill 004 becomes ordinance 03348. Council Bill 005.
Council 005 is a resolution authorizing the city administrator, the city of Harrisonville, to direct Vernon McDonald to purchase all equipment to be used at the water treatment plant from Pinnacle Ozone Solutions at a cost not to exceed $569,453.62. And we've modified that. I believe you all have that at your stations. And so the modified resolution, to clarify, is a resolution authorizing the city administrator of the city of Harrisonville to direct the successful contractor of the water treatment plant project to utilize ozone equipment from Pinnacle Ozone Solutions at a cost not to exceed $569,453.62. The distinction, the difference is that Burns and McDonald's is not going to be purchasing this equipment. Rather, it's been pre-selected as the equipment that the city wants to use on this project, And so we're simply gonna have Burns and McDonald included in the bid package so that that part, the type of equipment and the purchaser and the price will already be in the bid. So it's already been pre-selected as if we were gonna bid for an automobile and, but it's gonna be a Chevy Tahoe. So we've already decided that and the price. And so I apologize for the confusion in the resolution, but the amended one is what you have before you on your dais.
So this is not the
If I stole all your thunder, Jerry, I apologize.
Mr. Mayor, you did excellent.
This is not actually the approval of the expenditure yet, this is just saying this is what, like you said, that's what we will pay when the bid comes. That piece of the bid will stay at that price, and we will then approve of the expenditure after the bid, when we approve of the winning bid, so. Any questions? I would look for a motion to approve.
Motion approved. Second.
Motion from Alderman Coburn, second from Alderman Dickerson. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And Council Bill 005 becomes Resolution 004.
Thank you.
Council Bill 006.
Council Bill 006 is also going to be an ordinance of the Board of Aldermen of Harrisonville, Missouri, authorizing the city administrator to sign a letter of understanding for city administrator recruitment services with the Austin Peters Group, pursuant to Council Bill 006.
And it was brought to my attention, there are some further questions on this, so we are going to move the second reading to our next meeting. Moving on to
Will
Alderman.
that be an ordinance then instead of a resolution?
Yes, this was the first reading, that's what the,
Yeah, I've got, the resolution on here.
yeah, this was another one of those that was an adjustment after the,
Okay.
I missed this in the initial preparation of the agenda, so I apologize. Moving on to Alderman and committee reports. Alderman Bowman.
Forgive me, Mr. Mayor, if item H in the ordinance, does it not have to have its first reading tonight?
And Mr. Mauer just read it, did the first reading correct. The next, like I said, there were some further questions, so we'll do the second reading at the next one.
Okay, thank you for the clarification.
All right.
It's January, it's a new year, and I just wanted to let you know that Alderman Dahlman and I would love to have you attend our town hall meeting this coming Saturday at the United Methodist Church at 8 a.m. Chief Hofer will be there to talk about the city's upcoming canine program, so we hope you all will join us.
Alderman Dahlman. Alderman Coburn.
Want to wish everyone a happy new year.
Alderman Milner.
No, thank you.
Have you enjoyed your long break?
I did. It started back up today though.
Alderman Dickerson.
Nothing tonight.
Alderman Long.
Glad everyone had a happy and safe new year.
Alderman Stoll.
No report.
Alderman Stafford.
Just wanted to touch on again, I know we acknowledged her earlier, but in my short time as an elected official, I've come to realize probably the stress level that gets placed on Kim over there. So once again, thank you for your 15 years, and we do appreciate what you do.
Good. Mr. Colvin.
Well, it seems like piling on, but I'd have to also extend appreciation to the city clerk and for the support that she's given everybody here. I have a notice from MoDOT about a traffic advisory where they're going to be, weather permitting, closing this weekend from Friday evening until Sunday morning. The bridge over 291 Commercial Street there, the bridge over I-49 at 291 Commercial, basically from Cantrell to Commercial Street. Hopefully they'll be taking down the old bridge, and they'll be diverting the traffic on the interstate up and over the ramps for exiting and entering the interstate, and so there won't be any traffic across the new bridge because of the interstate traffic going over the ramps.
There won't be any right turns either. It is strictly straight over, up and over.
So there won't even be exits.
You can't access.
If you want to go to
No
Walmart,
entrance or exits,
right,
just The
If you
ramp
wanna
is
go to
not.
Walmart or anything else, you're gonna have to use middle exit.
And as I said, that's weather permitting, but that'll allow them to safely drop the old bridge and clean that up and be another mark of progress here. which means that they're not gonna put in bridges, so. And then, in response to what Mr. Butler brought up earlier, I have to apologize to the board if Mr. Butler should have engaged probably. And I think our practice in the past has been if people have questions, they should submit them, and we'll try to get those answered. But this is not really it's not a forum for back and forth, but we are open to questions, and if you have questions, we'll try to get those answers. And that's our commitment to you and the public. And again, my apologies for that. And, oh, I had one other thing. The item H there that was first reading only, and you mentioned there were some further questions. We need to know what those questions are, so if you need some information, we need to be able to get those answers for you. I will be contacting the firm in the morning to let them know that this is on hold, but if there's other information that they need to provide, it would be helpful if we could get them started on doing that. So anybody that has those further questions, if they could get them answered.
Very good. I will echo the congratulations again to Kim. 15 years is a long time to be anywhere, so it's a nice landmark to hit. I want to wish everybody a happy new year. I've got a new year, new set of challenges ahead of us, and I always appreciate people coming up to public participation and sharing their opinions. You know, a lot of people in the town, there's a lot of ideas out there that can be shared. I think the more people would get up and share their ideas, I mean, not fix everything overnight, but the more ideas you hear, the more you might be able to find a solution to some of the problems or challenges that are out there. So I'd encourage you to have other people come and share their ideas and what they think's going on. That's how we learn. I mean, it's difficult to get out and, I mean, you try to talk to as many people as you can, but it is difficult with life and everything else going on. So, but the more we work together, the more we can find the solutions and the answers to make things get moving in the right direction. So, that's all I have for tonight. Mr. Max, anything from you tonight, sir?
No, sir.
All right. And we do not have an executive session tonight, so I would entertain a
Move we
motion.
adjourn.
Motion from Alderman Coburn and a second from Alderman Dickerson. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Good night, everyone.